what this modern Freemasonry is really about, and this is why they only go publicly to the 33rd degree, is that they are feeling. So every man that is on the first degree still is all holding one entity. That's how large that entity is. So there'll be like 400,000 men holding the first degree entity. Then as we go through the ranks, as you so eloquently put earlier, at a certain point, you end up losing yourself. And that's why that band System of the Down was singing, you lose yourself, but you find it all. Okay. So what they're referring to is that like on an initiation, like what Kanye is dealing with right now, it was in his contract because it was written by Kabbalists. And they know your two-dimensional signature, which your signature is a two-dimensional imprint of you. You write that in ink. It's a special kind of pen. They slip it on you. The paper is different too. A real contract like money doesn't come on the paper that you buy at, that you buy at Kinko's. It comes on a paper that has been woven a certain way because they're papists. They work with paper. That's why I was saying that's the tree missing link thing. There are certain trees that are aligned with what you would say is the dark side, like willows. And when you blend these trees and you write certain spells on them, those trees will bind that spell. So then what this is basically a formula on this contract. And it's saying that this specific entity is going to go into this person by their own consent, because everything is based on consent. If you look at the whole thing, when you understand law, the legalese and the structure and everything that's going on, there is a consent. It just starts so early. Your mother basically becomes the informant. She turns state on you. She takes the form, which is the whole molding thing, and then she puts your feet on it. And I was just looking at, it's called Ma or Magna Mater. It was the first thing that you're seeing inside of the birth certificate. It was a stele. It's ancient from the goddess, where her two footprints are sitting on a stone with some symbols on the top.
Can I show it? I'll show them what you're talking about. This is the whole the jack out the box concept too. They call it the alma mater in some cultures. I think this is what you're referring to.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can pull that up real quick, and then if not now, then when we take a little.
Oh, I've been screen sharing the whole time. Like when you say stuff, I've been pulling up.
That. I can see that on the side.
You got it. Appreciate this. You got it.
So there's one, and it just shows the footprint. So anyway, the mother becomes an informant because she's filling out the form, and the form is the entity. Okay, and as the entity is being formed, and this is what we just see in the legal side of things. So of course the doc and all those characters play a role in now basically creating what later on becomes a Shigadil is what the name is. Okay, so the Shigadil is it's like crazy ass names, right? It's like when you look at the other languages, they explain it more better because they have more words, but it's still that same shad word. Okay, and what this is it's like it's an eidolon. It's an idea of you. And the more you feel it becomes animated, right? And what corporations actually are is they're eidolons that now the rituals are no longer being done for them, so they're out of control. So when a corporation, that's why the number one company in the world, like if you want to understand who's really doing all of this, and you understand how the pentagram plays a role in all this, all you got to do is go to pentagram.com. And who will you find? You will find the branding agency for all of the major brands. And then they'll tell you their story, and they will tell you they were reading an occult book and they decided to call it pentagram. And it's all run by the new censored word, okay, which we won't say right now. And in this, what they're doing is they're basically crossing over the logos or the logos and the Legos into the brands that they are infusing with the force of the entity that they are now commanding. Because remember, these energies, let me make something very clear to you also. The magic where they constrain jinn is not the magic that our ancestors were practicing at a certain point. And then they started doing it too. Because when you're constraining jinn, because many of the jinn are like childlike. They haven't even been in worlds before. So a magician is like way more masculine and adept because it can attract them through things that it's like you can lay traps for jinn. Like there's certain smells, there's certain colors, there's certain pheromones. So basically they had mastered this art of trapping these jinn and then getting these jinn to do the things that they wanted them to do. And that's all of occultism that's when you read these books. Like you could go on eBay, right? And they have like occult books that are worth $40,000. You can imagine what the hell is in this book. But I ain't gonna buy the book, but they'll actually facsimile a couple pages just to make sure you know that it's a real book. And when you read it, it reads just like most of the other magical books that are in the occult about how to enlist some kind of entity to go and do something bad.
And you know what, Sevan, just to back you up, the word jinn is the root word of Jenny, which is a person that grants humans wishes. It comes to do, yes.
Yeah, I mean, they're all connected. Even the words Jeanette and Genevieve. Like the jinn, okay, so men and jinn were in a marriage together, okay? Just so we can understand, this is the differences we were talking about between a sheep and a goat. This is actually really the underpinning between seraphim and cherubim. It was a marriage. So they would but it was more like the Montagues and the Capulets. You remember how like the Montagues and Capulets were, or what they call Shakespeare's play, right? Where Romeo and Juliet, or even the War of the Roses, where the two families, they marry each other, but they don't like each other. And to be honest, when you look at the masculine and feminine poles themselves, if they didn't have so many benefits of being together, you probably could never get these two to be together, because in themselves, they are incomplete. Right? Like when we talk about like a female on the planet Earth, a female human, and a male on the planet Earth, a male human, they're like a spherical magnet cracked, because that form itself, as the Nomo put it, in the Doggin and all those traditions, which are very accurate, they were together. It was actually the first entity that was created, where there was 9 of them, but one of them didn't come out. He became known as the Jackal. The Jackal is Jack. The Jackal is the jester. The Jackal is the dog, right? He is the opposite. He is the Demerge. He's the antithesis. He is the nemesis. But if you look at the story, why are they saying this all happened? Because when the Nomos were conducting experiment, who knows what, to terraform something, one of the entities broke out of the incubator early and did not finish. And this is like, after that, it seems like the story is not about anything else but this being's whole quest and experience of it's trying to figure out who it is, and it's being lost and destructive. And that's actually the Demirge story.